Thanks to the support as a channel member, Josh M. I can't even rent a room in Bourne. I'm earning $0 a month while I'm still waiting for my work visa to come through. I'm still not officially employed. I'm still helping out a mate. Not working. You're working. What it does mean, though, is I haven't got anywhere to live. This is becoming a problem. I'm sleeping under my desk in the office. The cheapest room to rent in the Bourne area doesn't even have a picture. I mean, how do I know how many chairs they've got? This one's got $800 a month, and it's got a pool. It's a furnished room in an apartment, and they've got a pool. How warm does it get in Bourne, Massachusetts? Do we want a pool? Because that's all they're showing us. We've had 2 different shots of the pool. I'm sure the room's lovely. Hello, welcome to part 4 of Bourne in the USA. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we've got 2 games for you in the Eastern League. We're at home against Brockton and away against LOLLUJO FC. Since you were last with me, it turns out that signing all of the best players from all of your opposition is a pretty useful tier 10 strategy in any country. It doesn't just work in England, it works in the USA too. You nick the best players from the Media Dream 11 when you're at amateur level, and believe it or not, the Media Dream 11 is quite good. And it does seem to be a system that is working rather nicely for us. Kevin Smith, not that one, is knocking goals in for fun. He's got 12 goals from 9 appearances in the league, averaging a 7.77. And the league table so far looking like this. And we are top, 5 points clear of the Evergreen Diplomats, who are in the playoff spots with Southie FC. Brockton, who we played today, are down in 4th place. Kevin Smith, not that one's the top goal scorer. And if we go back and look at that Media Dream 11, you can see at this point, we have managed to procure most of it. And there's a couple of other options if we decide to try and drag a few more in. But I think there are reasons why we couldn't get any of them. Yeah, he's actually got value and wages, which is ridiculous, really. Germantown FC, where are they? So they're not amateur. They're a semi-pro side. So they're actually paying wages. They've got no excuse for being as far down the league as they have. I'm not quite sure why I didn't go for these 2. I think they might have emerged after the transfer window, the registration window closed. So although we can do some of the tactics we used to do back in England, there's no point signing a player now because we can't register them until January when the registration window reopens. So January, you can be sure I'm going to be trying to steal those 2 away as well to just continue adding players from the Media Dream 11. Who needs scouting when the media are doing all the work for me? It's a lovely, lovely thing. So this is the team that we're going to be playing against Brockton. I am semi-concerned because our last 2 matches we haven't won. We got knocked out of the FA Vars by Legacy 76, who are in the Northern Premier League, which I think that's tier 6 or 7, the Northern Premier League. So they are better than us, and they did knock us out. That's fair. But then we drew away against the New Hampshire Bobcats. The Bobcats are down in 8th place. So I wonder if we might be having our first little mini wobble. I hope not, but we've got to try. We're doing a wobble test without our 15-year-old goalkeeper, Stefan Diallo, who has picked up a little bit of a knock. So Jose Luis Garcia, who I think was another one of the Dream 11 guys. Oh, no, he wasn't. He's coming from Rhode Island. But he was supposed to be great when we brought him in. Diallo was just better. So Garcia with an opportunity today to show us that he's any good. So we're going with Garcia in goal. A back four of Panico, Jones, Vargas and Moore. Old Man Atencio and Edgar in midfield. And then Seal and Hernandez supporting Fletcher. And Kevin Smith, not that one, up front. And hopefully we go back to winning ways. We're going to submit the team. We're going to have a little look to see what Brockton have got to offer. And hopefully we can get back, like I say, get back to winning ways, get back to the kind of form that we were in before we were knocked slightly by what went on in the FA Vars. Right, it is going to be us to get things going. Panico, right, that is too fast. Someone said on the Twitch streams the other day that I've got the animations too fast on this save. There you go, I fixed it. It took a little while, but it is now moving at a normal speed. Apologies for yesterday's episode if everything was moving far too quickly. Seal has got the ball just on the edge of the penalty area, plays it to Fletcher. There is Kevin Smith, not that one, but the shot is straight into the Brockton goalkeeper, and it remains 0-0. The league is starting to take shape. We're getting an idea of who the better teams, who the less good teams are. You can see there's a few teams down the bottom not really picking up much in the way of points at all so far. So I think we should be looking good at this point for a promotion. I think after the start we've had, we've got to be aiming for that. It's just going to be interesting to see what happens when we hit a point where we stop being amateur and we have to completely turn our transfer policy on its head because we can't just sign everybody from all the other amateur clubs, which I admit is a devilish strategy that is working so well so far. Kevin Smith, not that one, has just grabbed himself another goal to put us 1-0 up over Brockton, which does extend our lead at the top of the table. And we're also looking pretty solid for goal difference as well. Happy days. I know there's been a few people asking about the availability of this database. Give me a couple more days. Your best bet to find out exactly when it's out is to be in the Twitch streams, because I'll probably release it when nagging for it reaches fever pitch over there. I stream most nights, 7 p.m-ish UK time, twitch.tv/LOLLUJO. So if you hang out with me over there, you'll probably get a heads up because I'll be able to tell you in real time there, whereas I record a day or two in advance on YouTube. But I'm aiming for the end of the week. It's different from getting it working for me to getting away where it's going to work for everybody else with all the graphics and the kits and all that kind of stuff. I want it to be nice and simple for you to just plug in and use, and it's not quite there yet because it's spread out across multiple different folders on my hard drive. There's no instructions or anything, and yeah, if you want a 10-tier US database to play on in the meantime, though, FM21, the guy who made this database for me, he has got his non-boarded up version of it. It's been on the Steam Workshop for ages, so if you just want to play in a 10-tier US database, you can go and do that. You don't have to wait for this save. This save file is really for if you want to play as Bourne. But if you just want to play on a save like this, the save file exists. Just search for FM21 on the Steam Workshop. You'll find it. And it's a lot of fun. I like the fact that we're discovering new teams. And I've been reading about Massachusetts. I think before all this, I couldn't have even pointed at a map and told you where Massachusetts is. Whereas now I'm becoming something of an expert. I'm going to have to go and visit at this rate, wander around the streets of Bourne, Massachusetts, seeing if any of the locals recognize me as that man who did the football team. That would be the dream. Talking of the dream, it looks like we might just be clinging on for a 1-0 victory here. We are making much harder work of it than we were in our matches prior to that cup game. But this is one of the better teams in the division. We know from the league table that Brockton are doing pretty well. So I'm not going to be too disappointed. I'm never going to be disappointed with a win. If we manage to grab the win against Brockton, albeit quite hard work getting there, then that's a positive for me. And does keep our unbeaten start to the season going in the league, which is a very nice thing to have. We're going to have to start drawing some comparisons to the UK version of Bourne that we did last year on YouTube. I think the first season there, we won the league at a canter as well. So it'd be interesting to see if we perform as well as that version of Bourne did in another universe, in another time, in another continent. Cross comes in from the corner again, but it is cleared. And I think that's probably going to be that. Bourne 1, Brockton 0. And now we can move on to the next game, which I think is an away game against a lesser side. And hopefully keep this run of form. There you go, Vallejo FC or Vallejo. No idea. They're down in 20th place, though, so fingers crossed. That should be a game that we should be able to win reasonably easily. So Diallo is back for the Vallejo game then. Other than that, it is an unchanged side. Got to play my 15-year-old when I've got... Oh, he's 16 now. Well, that potentially changes everything. We'll leave him in for now. And let's hopefully go and continue this run of form that we're on. Vallejo. I need to look at where Vallejo is. I need to know. Hold on. One moment. Typical. I want to know where a club is, and it turns out they're in 6 different locations. But they are into teamwork, discipline, hard work, commitment, respect, and leadership. So they sound lovely. Where are they? I need to know where they're actually based. Camps/clinics. They are where? Is Vallejo a place? Is that why they're not telling us? That would make sense. Oh, here we go. So they've got a Newton location, which is... Just need to zoom out. I need to know where Newton is. Newton is a bit outside of Boston by the looks of it. Or they've got a Metro South location. It's just going to be around and about Boston as well. I think we've headed to the Boston area for this. We haven't. We're miles away. It's Brockton, where we just were. Well, we're learning so much. So I don't know which one of those locations we've travelled to, because all of these clubs don't have grounds yet. It is another one of these car park locations where there's not really any fans in at all. Because the only place they've got to sit is benches. We've got a car park at that end, a car park at this end. It's weird the way you just have these multi-story car parks surrounding football grounds in America. I assume this is nationwide. Just it's quite common to have multi-story car parks next to prisons with football grounds just kind of squished in between that only have park benches and one guy stood there all in white like he's a ball boy at Wimbledon. In fact, he's probably the physio. Is he maybe? There are no fans here at all, though, are they? Kevin Smith, not that one, puts us 1-0 up. It's an 18th goal of the season for him. It does make you wonder why you need the burger van and all these bins if there's not actually any fans in. But I'm not going to question it. So it is multi-story car parks on 3 of the sides and then what looks like a factory next to the prison. If this tells me there's an attendance at this game, I call shenanigans, because there is not a person in this ground that isn't an employee of one of these 2 football clubs. Yet there's still burger vans that appear to be open for business. This isn't a healthy and nutritional diet for my footballers. I don't want them eating burgers at half time. Right, Panico on the left-hand side plays it forward to Kevin Smith. Not that one. And it goes just wide. And it looks like we've got a corner as we look to extend our advantage over Vallejo FC. Cross comes in, Vargas is there, but the header goes just over. There's certainly a lot of parking. There's a lot of potential for the future at Vallejo. If they do move up through the footballing pyramid, they've got lots of parking on site, although they might need to just move the car parks back a smidgen to, put some seats in for the football. It looks like they've got the space to do it. Why have all the multi-story car parks when you've got all this tarmac knocking around the place that people could just park on willy-nilly, like that van has just there? Right, 1-0 as we hit half-time, and we will give everybody a pat on the head, and we'll just continue business as usual as we go into the second half. I certainly feel like our spell of utterly dominating teams is coming to an end. It's like everyone else is starting to catch up. We got a good start to the season because we stole everybody's best players, but now everybody's kind of regrouping a little bit, and the gap between us and them seems to be narrowing, because this is a team that are down in a relegation battle. Not that there is relegation from this league, but they're in very real danger of finishing bottom of this league, and they're putting up a good fight. I mean, we're not dominating them the way we were dominating teams yesterday in yesterday's episode. Old man Atencio plays it across to Edgar, who just lumps it forward aimlessly. Welcome to tier 10, boys and girls. It's a beautiful thing. You don't get goals like this in the Premier League, and I miss them when I'm there, because this is sensational non-league play. So the ball in midfield, Atencio plays it across to Edgar, who just aimlessly lumps it forward. Their defender doesn't realise there's a football coming towards his head and just lets it whistle past his ear. It bounces about 14 times in the penalty area with the goalkeeper just looking flabbergasted at it. And Kevin Smith just tucks in and says, yeah, I'll have a bit of that. Thanks very much. 2-0 to us. Just as I'm saying we're not dominating teams, they go and do the worst piece of defending I may have ever seen in a game of Football Manager. That's not true. We've all seen worse defending than that, but that was pretty poor. More now. Trying to get another attack going from the right back position, plays it forward, looking for the flick on from Fletcher, and he gets it. But Smith couldn't get there in time, and now Vallejo looking to come back down this left-hand side. We need to get a tackle in here, and this is some pretty poor defending from us, although Vargas didn't look like he was worried at all, did he? And Fletcher's done very well to turn his man there rather than going for the flick on this time. Turns his man, starts to run at him, but ends up shooting from a much tighter angle than he needed to. He probably would have been better trying to square that to Smith, who was supporting him in the centre. But some bright play from some of our players as we get a little bit deeper into this game. Vargas looks very assured at the back. Fletcher and Smith look like they're forming a strike partnership up front. And the midfield two of Atencio and Edgar is looking very assured. Hernandez now trying to make sure I don't forget about the wide players. He's heard me saying I want to sign those 2 wingers off the media Dream 11 in January, and has decided to try and put on a show. And he's good at running, but didn't have any end product at all. So we are going to take off one of the wide men. Kakaburis can come on the right-hand side. And we're also going to take off Edgar in midfield, bring on Ruvalcaba, who did start. He was our starting option there at the start of the season, but Edgar has kind of forced past him as the season has gone on. And we're going to bring Carrillo on for Vargas as well. 2-0, 20 minutes to go. We should be pretty comfortable from here, but we were leading quite comfortably in the game that we drew just before I recorded the episode as well against the team. I can't remember who we were playing, but I think we were 2-0 up in that one and ended up letting the opposition back into it. So we're not home and dry just yet, especially because I'm now messing around making the substitutions. And Vallejo on the attack again, but Seal has got a chance now to counter on the left-hand side, plays it forward to Smith, who gives it back to Ruvalcaba, who lumps it forward looking for Fletcher. He probably could have done a lot better with that pass there. And once again, Vallejo have got it in the midfield, and they look pretty comfortable on the ball. I'm surprised to see them as low down the league as they are, although they are full of mistakes. They look comfortable until they're not, and then they do something ridiculous. We've seen it happen twice in this half now. They look fine, and then someone... Is it the same guy both sides, both times? Is it White? I think that was his name. It's White who didn't get there. White was the guy who didn't try and make the header for the second goal, and he's made no attempt to get on the end of that pass for the third goal. I think if they didn't have him in the team, they'd be doing an awful lot better than they are, although he would probably argue that he's not the one who was at fault for that third goal. But once again, it's all Vallejo in between goals, and we're just biding our time. They're trying to knock the ball around and play nice football, it seems, and we just get the ball off them and directly head up the other end of the pitch and score a goal. I think they're trying to be too pretty and too skillful about what they're doing. Maybe a little bit of naivety. They're playing against a team who are playing a very English non-league style, and it might not have fully translated to the US just yet. But, I mean, teams have got to learn from us. That's a beautiful goal. Goodness me. Diallo's got no chance. And I said they were looking bright, and they've got some talent in this team, and that was a lovely goal. He's picked the ball up quite deep there, plays the ball into Flores, who gives it back to him. We're just backing off, and he couldn't have hit that any better than he did. Perfectly placed. 3-1. I'm still not worried with that White guy at the back. I don't think we have any issue at all about winning the game, because even if they score another 3 or 4 goals, they've moved him out here. He's going to do less damage out there. Maybe I am a little bit worried now, because they are coming at us again. What is going on here? Why are we giving them I don't understand why there's so many highlights. We are giving them far too much of the game. Seal's got the ball now. Kevin Smith, huge amount of space to run into, and he's too good for this league. A 4th goal of the day for Kevin Smith, not that one. A 21st goal of the season. It said at the bottom there that we just counter-attacked with surgical precision, and that's exactly the story of this second half. Vallejo have had so much of the ball, but then when we win it back, they leave so many gaps for us to exploit. And when I say us, I absolutely mean for Smith to exploit. How many times are they changing their formation as well? They don't really seem to know what they're doing. They're just flailing around aimlessly, and we've made them look a little bit silly today, I think, because we've got a player who's too good for this league. It'll be interesting now to see how long we can keep Smith for. If we can keep him all season, we should be fine. If we were to lose him, if he was to go and play at a higher level, which why wouldn't he? He's an amateur player. He's not earning a penny with us. If he goes to a higher level, that's potentially a problem for us then. But hopefully that doesn't end up happening. We've given the ball away there. A rare misplaced pass from old man Atencio, and it's now 4-2. And it's definitely a good one for the neutrals this game. 4-2. I think that's probably the end of it. Although we've got a free kick here in the 95th minute. Ruvalcaba with the chance to make it 5. I think he's going to as well, or they wouldn't be showing us the highlight. Ruvalcaba, and he scores. It's his first ever goal for Bourne. It's a beautifully placed free kick as well. And it's now Vallejo 2, Bourne 5. That flatters us a little bit based on looking at the match stats. But when you've got a player like Smith and a free kick like that in your side, you can't really complain too much. We've absolutely battered them whilst letting them have possession, which I enjoyed that. That was fun. Right, we are going to play a bunch more games now. It's starting to become clear that we're probably going to get promoted this season. unless something goes wrong. So I'm not going to drag it out too far because we don't need to see us winning 5-2 all the time. So we'll probably get 7 or 8 games done before we pop back in again, come back somewhere, probably around about the January transfer window when that opens. It's going to be interesting to see if players start to leave or if we start to bring in anyone new. So we'll probably come back for that and then hopefully still be top of the league when we do. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.